Hi, this is Carrie Brownstein.
This is DJ Premier.
This is Darren Aronofsky.
You got the RZA right here.
Rose McGowan.
Radiohead.
Aisha Tyler.
Tribe Called Quest.
Fred Armisen.
Prince Paul.
Javier Munoz. Seth Meyers.
Frankie Cosmos.
Flying Lotus.
Hi, we're Chaim, and you're listening to the Talkhouse Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Talkhouse Podcast. I'm Josh Modell. On this week's episode, we've got an intense conversation between two friends about loss, mental health, and more. It's James Graham and Rachel Goswell. Now, Graham is the singer and lyricist of the Scottish band the Twilight, whose first full-length came out back in 2007, and who were part of a scene that included their friends in Frightened Rabbit and We Were Promised Jetpacks, the common thread being intense, emotional, heart-on-the-sleeve rock songs. They chugged along for a while there, making great records, and were eventually kind of taken under the wing of The Cure's Robert Smith, who loved their music so much that the Twilight kind of became The Cure's default opening band. But life hit Graham pretty hard over the past decade, with a 7-year stretch that included losing his mother to dementia and a bout of his own with mental illness. Graham eventually began writing songs about it, and the result is the first Twilight record in 7 years called It's the Long Goodbye. It's not necessarily an easy listen, but it's worth it. Check out a little bit of the song Chest Wound to the Chest right here. The other half of today's conversation is Rachel Goswell, best known as the singer of 90s shoegazers Slowdive. Now, Slowdive had a pretty weird trajectory, coming up in the same scene that birthed My Bloody Valentine, Ride, and other big players, but never really getting their due back then. But history was justifiably kind to Slowdive, and they reformed about 10 years ago, picking up a much younger fan base in the process, theoretically thanks to TikTok and other social platforms. But Slowdive isn't just playing the nostalgia game. They've released vital new music in recent years, and their latest is 2023's Everything is Alive. In this immediately intense conversation, Graham and Goswell talk at length about how they first got to know each other, about how they become different people on stage, and about their common bond, having both lost their mothers to dementia in recent years. Like I said, it can be intense, but I appreciate their sincerity and openness, and I hope you do too.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tired. It's been quite a long week, a good week. I haven't spoke to so many people in such a long time. Like, I've been up here in the Northeast, kind of hiding away to myself. And then, I don't know, this week I've spoke to maybe more than I usually do. So my social anxiety was through the roof. But ultimately, it was a good thing for me to do. I could have been sat in the house, just looking at my phone all the time and my head going absolutely mental. So it was nice to be out in front of people and show that I'm all right.
Yeah.
You made me cry the other night with your lovely post, so thank you for doing that. And thank you for doing this as well. This is because I know it could be maybe quite full on.
Yeah, well, probably more so for you than me at this point, because it's your spotlight, James.
No. I'm trying to shift it on to you.
No. I'm glad you do it though. That's nice. Yeah, well, it was from the heart anyway. So
it was beautiful. Thank you. You know, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. But I wrote a few notes down just to conversational things.
Oh, good.
The reason we met through Scattered Ashes, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Scattered Ashes is for the listeners is a song from the Minor Victories album that I was very kindly asked to have a go at singing with you in the Castle of Doom in Glasgow. I was so nervous because I was like, oh, this is your song. I do not want to fuck this up.
And you sang it beautifully.
I was listening to it the other day and I love it. It's such a beautiful song and I just loved singing it. You know, when you just love singing something, I was like, this is really, really good and beautiful, a beautiful song as well. So it was a real honour to do it. I don't know if I've ever said that to you.
I think you have. I mean, that was like 2015.
And then I think the first time we physically were in the same room with each other was when we were practicing or when you were playing gigs with Minor Victories. And from my point of view is that I just kind of thought I got on with you really well right away and you were like-minded about this whole thing that we do, you know.
Yes.
Because it's sometimes quite hard to find people like that.
I like to think I'm very grounded in reality, as opposed to the unreality that can occur.
Yeah, that's been one of the scary things for me is jumping back into that, because I've been so nice and safe and like in my wee world up here. And this week's been pretty scary dipping my toe back in.
Especially after how many years? Is it 7
years?
Yeah, and that's a long time to have been out of it. But you're kind of basically now hitting the ground, running with it, and you're just going to go. You're going to fly. Fly with it, you know.
I didn't want to run before I could walk, if that makes sense. I just know how much this life and like the touring and all that can really kind of mess with your head a lot. And I love being at home. So touring for me is completely different now. You know, I used to want to get away and now I have a safe place.
I used to be the same when I was much younger. I kind of lived for touring when I was in my 20s and early 30s. I loved it so much, and I always used to get very depressed when I came off tour, and that having to adjust back to normal life, when I think, you know, at that point in my life, my kind of personal life probably wasn't very stable anyway. But like the second round of Slowdive, obviously I'm a mother. My son will be 16 next month. Whoa. So when I came back into it, I was already a parent, and 42, 43 at that point.
I know where you are. Yeah,
and you've already lived multiple lives, James, already. And as you say, you've got your family, and your home life is safe and secure. And I think that's incredibly important when you're having to go out on the road and tour, because I mean, you know, my mindset is very different now to what it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago when I was touring.
I've been trying to think about how I'm going to be doing this, like, to be healthy. And I know that sounds not really that rock and roll or whatever they say, but I'm bored of that now. I've lived that life, and this body will not put up with that anymore. I kind of like to separate the two things, my home life and then that person that goes and does that. It's like as much as I love it, I have to kind of treat it like a job, because I have to look after myself. You know?
And also, you know, you have so many people paying to come and see you do your music. I think it's incredibly important to take it seriously and be kind of the best health you can be, particularly as a singer, like on tour. You really have to look after your health. We played in obviously South America when you stepped away and couldn't do that tour with The Cure, and I actually lost my voice out there for the first time ever in my entire career of doing gigs. I literally couldn't speak for about 4 or 5 days, and it was awful, and I felt horrific. We did our first gig in Buenos Aires, which was our own show, which was incredible. It was brilliant. And then the next night it was festival one, and I woke up and literally nothing was coming out, and it was horrifying. And I did like the next few gigs literally just playing and doing a bit of sign language to the audience.
There's nothing worse than that. I've had that at one of our gigs at the Barrowlands, which was like a really important gig, and it went. I was just standing there going, this is the one place I've always wanted to be, but right now I want to be nowhere near here because I can't do it. I want to be in my bed. But I just want to be the best I can be now. That's kind of but before I was just like on the train and having a laugh and going, this is crazy, what are we doing? And then probably needed a lot of kind of courage to get up and do things, which was like help put on a mask, I suppose.
You can only come to that conclusion yourself once you've been through all the stuff, as you say. We both been there, and I appreciate it a lot more now than I probably did back then. It's like you say, you become a bit blasé about it, and it is a very different life and quite surreal at times. And I mean, particularly for you with all your touring with The Cure, must be really, really surreal to be in that situation. Even for us, when we do sort of bigger gigs like that, I still find that surreal.
Yeah, I do everything I can to try and normalise it, but you can't.
Well, yeah.
You're like, how do I normalise any of this? You're like, it's just a gig. And you're like, you get up there, it's like, this is not just a gig. This is absolutely mental.
But I guess at the end of the day, people are people, aren't they? We're all kind of the same and not the same at the same time.
No, that makes sense. Totally. It does. Like, I'm so scared of like people in general, but like I say in this week, getting out and just how brave people were to tell me their own stories and things like that. It's a lot to take on, and it's like a bit of an honour and a privilege that somebody is wanting to open up and share that with you like that. So it's like, yeah, that this week's kind of shown me that it's like, yeah, you're not alone kind of type thing. Like, it's as much as when I was in the depths of my own mental kind of problems, like it was just feeling alone and basically feeling like not understanding these feelings and thinking, oh no, nobody else must be feeling this way and things like that. And it's just like, no, everybody is, mate. So that realization was quite big this week as well.
Very emotional, I'm sure.
Aye, it's yeah. I mean, one or two stories like that a week from people is like a lot to take on. But there was like we were signing and there was queues and things, and it was like people really wanted to share with me. And it was. I feel privileged that they would want to do that, and it was amazing.
I expect you'll continue to have that everywhere you go.
I've kind of set myself up for it, to be honest. I felt somebody has to speak about these feelings, and I had the medium or the opportunity to try and do it. So I feel lucky in that way. But yeah, I'm going to have to try and make sure that I've got some light relief during the day.
Yeah, you do have to look after yourself in the process as well.
I'm going to try and do what I do at home. Is like I go out for a big walk in the morning and I get my headphones on and listen to like old music that I loved that I'd forgotten about, if that makes sense. I find that it sets me up for the rest of the day a lot better than like just sitting stewing. And just where I live, like similarly to where you live, there's so many opportunities to get out into like nature and things like that. And yeah, they do prescribe that for you as well when you're not doing too good.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most grounding things.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we're the same in that respect as well. It's why we both live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. When I came down to stay with you the other week, when I got there, I was just like, yeah, they're like the same kind of ideas what I've done, like, and it's just in like the countryside, and I don't know, there's just
peace.
I think we were talking as well. You came from a small village as well, and I did too. And I went away, and I was like, I'll not be staying somewhere like this when I'm older and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, oh shit, yeah, we're back. It's very strange, but also it makes complete sense to me.
Getting older is weird.
Can't believe that anybody's given me any responsibilities. I'm just like, really? You seem to be juggling them all right at the moment, but I'm just constantly like imposter syndrome in every element of my life. I'm like, wait till I get found out.
I think that's just like a fundamental human trait that we all have.
Good. I'm not an alien then.
No, you're not. Although we do like talking about aliens and paranormal podcasts.
Aye, that's funny. See, when you said that the podcast yesterday was Otherworld, like that is honestly one of the podcasts that over the past 2-3 years that is one that I look forward to coming every day. And it's only since my mum passed that I've been more open to like, or just not being scared. I was trying to make me out that I wasn't an absolute wimp there, but the thought of there being something else after this or something else happening just gives me a little bit more hope, I think. And there's some unexplainable things that have been happening over the past couple of years, even the past week, that I just can't put together. Like, it makes more sense to just go, well, somebody's looking out for me, instead of going, no, that can't be. I'd rather just lean into it now, instead of questioning it.
Yeah,
I think so. I really enjoyed that podcast so much, actually. So when you said that, I was like, nobody else has said that to me. I've not known anybody that's listening to this. So I don't talk to that many people either. So there is that.
Most people that I know just tend to listen to a lot of music, and I listen to some music, but I really enjoy the spoken word.
I love interviews and finding out about people and finding out how they live their life. I listen to that more than I listen to music these days.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes music, as much as it can be the biggest relief to me, it can also bring so much stress.
Yeah. And it is work. That is a work thing as well, I think. Because as you said earlier, it's a job we're so privileged to do, and we both, love, and it's fundamental part of who we are. Like, one of the main places I've always felt at home has been on stage and singing.
Yeah, me too.
And for me, I think it's the kind of the most outgoing version of Rachel that goes out on stage. And I can be, I guess, outgoing and chatty with the right people.
I'm the same.
And I can be in a room full of people and feel incredibly awkward and just say nothing.
Me too.
So it really just depends on kind of who you're with. I'm
a very anxious person, and walking into a supermarket gives me the fear. Doing everyday normal things gives me the fear. But when I walk up there and you start singing and stuff like that, something just clicks and it's like, oh, okay.
It just feels normal, doesn't it?
Aye.
That's how I describe it. I'm like, it just feels like I'm home.
It should probably feel one of the most intense things going, but there is something that's just like, oh, right, okay, here we go. I know how to do this.
Yeah, my mum was a nurse, and she's an incredible woman and very caring. And she always used to say to me, "I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you can get up there and sing in front of all those people." And I'm like, I don't know either, but I just know that it's where I feel my most comfortable. And it just feels right. And I've got no explanation for it other than it feels right.
I'm the exact same as well. I think a lot of my family have said that to me as well, because I think I was known as the quite shy, timid person. And they're just like, what happened to him? When, like, the amount of times I've come off stage and I'm hanging about with my friends and they're like looking at me a bit different. And I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, that wasn't you up there. I was just like, oh, okay. Well, it was a version of me. Maybe you're happy that that version stays up there. And this version, the calm, weird, quiet one, can stick about here. But it's pretty unexplainable as well.
It's incomprehensible. We can't comprehend it because we're the ones doing it.
I know. And do you know, this week as well, I've had loads of like messages from old school friends, people from our village where we grew up and things. And just like, yeah, in a weird way, I always thought that we weren't accepted in our wee village and we were the weirdos. But this week, they've kind of got behind us, which is quite a good feeling. You know, we're like, we were the weirdos, but it's worked out in a weird way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool.
After this week, I'm excited about doing the tour. It's not that long either, but I'm also really excited because the band is sounding really good as well. Like Simone and Kat that are playing with us now, it was just such a good feeling in the room, and I actually enjoying it. I don't know if that you can say that all the time, but I was actually enjoying it and feeling like they were too, because they were like asking for songs to play. Like they were asking, can we play this one? I was just like, oh wow, it's a nice feeling. I'm as much as I'm nervous because it's a new band, I'm confident as well. There's a nervous confidence about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and two women too. It's almost the alternative ABBA, but not
Scabba. We called it Scotland. Scabba. But it's awesome, honestly. Just like I love the feeling in the room, and it feels like a new start in a way. Like I remember it getting those feelings like I did on the first record when you were about to embark on something, but you didn't really know what it was going to be yet, but you were excited about it at the same time. So there's all these emotions flying around, but ultimately not dread, which was the big emotion that took over everything at one point.
Yeah, and that's brilliant.
You're away soon, are you not? You're not.
Yeah, we're going to China. Just 3 gigs, festival, and then our own shows in Beijing and Shanghai. I think we're headlining the festival as well. I think I'm away for 10 days, and it feels like 3 to 4 days of those are going to be travelling. Actually,
yeah.
It's going to be quite hardcore, and then I get back just in time to come and see you at the Roundhouse. I'm really glad I can come to that.
Well, I'll totally understand if I get that text message saying I am still destroyed. I can't move. That's jet lagged. Right, okay.
Got to be up in London the night before anyways. I'm just going to stay up, and I've booked somewhere so I can sleep during the day before coming to your gig.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to basically just hanging out as well. I like that place, and I think it's our biggest London gig, so hopefully, yeah.
It's a lovely one to do. I love the Roundhouse.
Yeah, and the more the merrier. Fill the gaps that will be there.
Sure, it'll be full and fine.
we'll see. What else did I write? I was asked who I wanted to speak to on this, and you came up right away because one, you were my friend, and two, I was scared of everybody else. But you and I have obviously got a really shared experience together. Yeah, this week I put out the record that I wrote it around my mother getting diagnosed and ultimately passing away from dementia. And you had a similar story to me. And what I'll say is that you were a massive help to me, just knowing there was somebody at the end of a phone to message who would completely understand what I was going to go through or what I was feeling. I was actually really scared to let you hear the record because I knew that it would maybe bring up some emotions that are, raw, and they're always going to be raw and they're always going to be horrible. And it's got a lot of things in the record that's not nice, if that makes sense. But it happened. They happened. It was part of the process. And if I was going to write anything about this, it was like it had to be 100% the truth and honest. And I felt I would have done everybody that has been in a situation like this, and my mother and Andy who looked after her, a disservice if it wasn't just warts and all.
Yeah.
You know, like it had to be kind of real instead of just, I don't know what the other option would have been. You were always someone that I knew that I could send a message to, even though sometimes sending a message to you, I didn't want to like dredge up feelings. If you were having a good day, maybe you weren't thinking about it that day, you know?
I think I still think about it every day.
Yeah.
I certainly think about my mum every day. You know, I'm nearly 6 years on from her passing. But, you know, it was the same for me messaging you at that time because you were the only other person I knew that was going through a similar experience. You know, it's really the only people that are experiencing those things can like fully understand. And the fact it was both of our mothers, they had different types of dementia. My mum had Lewy body dementia and was misdiagnosed with Parkinson's initially. And they gave her loads of medication and for 6 months, and which literally did nothing. And then they were like, okay, it's not Parkinson's, it's Lewy body. And that was, I mean, your mum's dementia was, again, very different to Lewy body.
Yeah. The one thing that with my mum's was just the communication that went right away. And like within the first year, I think if we were able to communicate a lot more, I'm not going to say it would be easier because none of it's easy, but you would at least maybe try to understand what she needed or wanted or was maybe feeling, because you had no idea. Like, it was a guessing game every day. She had no choice in anything anymore. It was basically, that's what you've got and that's what's happening because you can't tell us, even there's no communication. So I found that extremely difficult. But can you explain what the Lewy body?
So the Lewy body, it's actually the same dementia that Robin Williams had.
Oh, right.
But he didn't obviously get to the advanced stage of it because he decided to shuffle off this mortal plane.
Yeah.
So the protein eats away at the front part of the brain with Lewy body. And for my mum, the first sort of physical symptoms was she would hold her hand quite funnily. It kind of affected the way she would walk. She would sort of shuffle. I live in Devon, and at that point my parents were still in my childhood home near Reading in this little village. And I remember my dad wanting to go out for the evening, but not able to leave my mum. And so I'll just come up and stay so you can go out. And then it became apparent very quickly she had no idea who I was. Oh. And she just kind of sat there looking really nervously and awkwardly at me. And I was trying to explain, I'm your daughter, but she just wasn't getting it. So as the disease progressed for her, she would regularly see hallucinations. She would see children in the trees and deer, a lot of animals and children, which apparently is quite common with Lewy body. But at night, she would imagine that there were loads of terrifying men in the bedroom and there would be fire, and she would have horses coming out of the wall to her, or she would be in a boat surrounded by water and she couldn't swim. So my husband and I ended up buying a house with my parents in order to look after my mum and to support my dad. And this was in 2019, 7-8 months before COVID hit. Yeah. And they had been in their house for 45 years or something. So really long time.
That's a big deal.
It's huge.
What an amazing thing to do. We all would want to be able to do that, to be able to repay the favour, I suppose. Repay the love and when they nurtured us when we couldn't say or do anything, or like things like that. Kind of the roles are reversed as they fade. I felt that, and although my mum she lost her speech, I know that feeling of like her not recognising me. I could just tell within her eyes. She was just looking straight through me. She wasn't seeing me.
Like a glazed expression. My mum always was very glazed. She recognised my dad. I mean, we weren't able to see her for the last 3 months of her life because of COVID, and by that point, she had moved into a care home, which was literally only a 30-second walk from our house. She had spinal fractures as well and was bedbound, so it became very difficult towards the end.
Very similar story as well.
She recognised my dad. He used to like go in every evening with a gin and tonic for her. It's a small bit of respite. And she always knew who he was. Didn't know who I was, but at one point when we were living in the house together, I think it was just me and her. I'm like, do you know who I am, Mum? Do you know who I am?
You can never imagine saying that to your mother, can you? Like, do you know who I am?
It's insane, and the conversation got weird. And I just said, look, I'm Rachel, your daughter, and she's like, you're not the right Rachel. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, how many Rachels are there? And she's like, it's about 7. I'm like, oh, okay.
I would be like, yeah.
I mean, yes.
I was like, I think if that was said to me, I'd be like, yeah, you might be right. There's 7 Jameses. It brings back memories that aren't great, but it's also good to have to go through it a wee bit. I don't feel I processed a lot of it at the time. I still think I am quite processing, and I don't think I ever will fully, obviously. But just to try and understand it was a big deal for me because there was no charted map with it. It was like one horror film to the next horror film at points, It was genuinely when she was still physically able and things like that. There was moments of like the police had to get phoned to the house and things like that, just because she had no idea where she was. She was trying to get out of the house, and I was getting phone calls to come home, and then she'd be sitting there so confused why the police were there and stuff like that. It was just from the most timid woman who wouldn't have said boo to a ghost, it changed her so much, like it was just that I found that bit really hard. But then she got less mobile and things like that, and it became like she was like had to be helped everywhere. And I suppose in a way that stopped the idea of her going missing or things like she would go and try and get a bus, walk up to the bus stop. You were just going into the unknown every day, and it changed every day as well. Yeah. It wasn't just this is what's wrong with her. It was like, here's this new thing that's starting to come at the surface now. So I do use the term horror film a lot because I really did feel like we were in that quite a lot. And
absolutely.
It's just like the worst one. It's not even a horror film. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a psychological nightmare.
Yeah. And your mum was ill for quite a few years as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, and it was early onset as well. She was in her 60s when she had it, so it was just the whole timing as well. As just like, I don't know. I was really looking forward to this next phase of my life with her because I was kind of starting to maybe figure out who I was and who I wanted to be, and probably like scared the life out of her for most of my like adult life. Just her going, what is he doing? Like, he seems to be doing something that people kind of like, but I hope he's going to be okay, if you know what I mean. But I was definitely really excited about this next stage of getting to know her. Like, she was just mum before, and yeah. I was really looking forward to getting to know that person because I was going through the similar things that an adult would go through that she had obviously went through me and stuff like that. So I think I mourn not having that with her. Yeah,
all the stuff that you'll never.
Yeah, life obviously doesn't go the way that you think it is. You hope like that you're like when you're younger, you're like, yeah, it's going that way. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Aye, fair enough. That'll be great. And then when it derails you. That's definitely when I started to kind of lose my health as well. I thought I was on a path, and then but when she got a diagnosis, and that it just changed everything. Nothing would be the same again. And COVID was mental as well. I don't know how you coped with that.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah.
It was awful for all the reasons that everybody knows. But when you're dealing with what we were dealing with, I was terrified the whole time.
Your mum was still living with your dad at that point.
Yeah, and I was terrified. Yeah, just because they would go out and stuff like that, and just all the things that everybody else thought. But luckily, as it went on, I bubbled up with them. And even though COVID was awful, I don't think I would have had as much time with her if I wasn't at home, because I would have been doing something like try to write or play or something like that. But I actually, as horrible as some of the times were, it was time. I had time. We had time to just be in each other's company.
And that's where my experience was different, because she was in the care home and me and my dad weren't allowed in there. And actually the care home closed their doors to everyone 2 weeks before the national lockdown.
I can't even imagine that. I'm sorry, Rachel. It's just brutal.
I think it was about 12 weeks or so after that she died. But they actually called us in the day before she passed and said, you need to come and see her. And so me and my dad went in, and, I had my own time with her privately and said all the things that I wanted to say to her. And she was unconscious,
Yeah.
She was medicated to keep her comfortable. I got to say everything that I wanted to say to her. And I, said goodbye to her, and then she literally died, I think 24 hours later.
I was able to be there when my mum did die. I've never seen somebody die before. And that stays with me every day. I don't know if it's a good thing that I was there or not, honestly. It was painful. She had a painful end as well. It wasn't just a kind of drift off in your sleep kind of type thing. And that will stay with me forever. So I wish I could say that the other side of it, you get something, but yeah, it haunts me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I honestly, I wouldn't be able to say it's better to be there or not to be there, but the first person I've seen leave this world was her, and it's just eerie thing, Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that with me as well, because it's I haven't really said those kind of things to people either, but it's part of it, and I think it's part of, I don't know if it was part of being there at the beginning and being there at the end. It was just, I think the one thing that we can both be really proud of is being there.
Yeah.
That's some people can't be there because it's so horrific. As in through the whole process, so many people in my life ran away from it, if that makes sense. And found it hard to talk to me about it and things like that. So I really appreciate anybody that wants to real talk with me. Real talk.
Well, it just changes everything, doesn't it? And it changes you as a person and the way you look at the world. And it's just a fucking shit thing, losing anybody you love and losing mums. And she's knitted into your bones. That's what that's what I always kind of hold on to. It's like half of me is half of her, and I miss her every day. I'm nearly 6 years in now, and you're two. Yeah. Still such early days, and you were talking earlier about processing it, and I think it'll take fucking years to process it. I have no idea whether anyone ever fully does process the death of a loved one that was so important. I don't know, but I guess it's not a great mystery of life, but I mean that's part of the lived experience, is that we're all going to lose people we love dearly and have to deal with that grief.
For a while, that was something that really messed with me. It was just every time I would look at somebody I love, because I loved my mum so much, it was like, I cannot dare to lose you. And going away on tour and stuff like that. And I know you definitely feel the same way. It's like, if I'm going to leave this house, it's got to be something that I feel really worth it.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference to me and hopefully to other people. nothing else in this world would make me go away for the time that I do than what music, you know, like there's nothing that would make me leave that way, you know. So just because I'm so, still quite fresh in it, but just like really, so scared of losing somebody else now.
Yeah. Well,
that does seem to be kind of subsiding a bit.
Good.
You know, like as I've started to get a bit healthier, that feeling is dissipating ever so slightly. I just needed time, and I needed a lot of other things. Like I needed doctors, things like that. But like the main thing was just, to be able to get through this, to then think about getting to the other side.
Yeah, I think mental health is, so important. I spent the latter half of my 20s, most of my 30s, dealing with panic attacks and anxiety, like really bad panic attacks, and I became agoraphobic and all sorts of awful things.
You've got to work at it. I'm so bad at working at things, but when I start to feel something creeping up, I've got things that can now help me understand those feelings, whereas I really struggled to understand or control my emotions throughout my whole life, but during that period especially, because everything didn't make sense.
Your entire world was being literally blown apart, you know.
Yeah, everything that you thought was life, kind of.
Yeah, and safe and secure, and no one has a flipping textbook on how to deal with these things. Nobody should ever beat themselves up about struggling with mental health stuff and the whole grieving process and active grieving, which is what you were in for years and what I was in for a few less years than you, but that active grieving of somebody so sick and poorly that in one respect you are waiting for them to pass to relieve the pain that they are in, and that person is no longer the person, that they were, and that you spent your life.
And you say goodbye so many times, like to certain parts of that person. You're like, that part's gone now. I felt that like every time I met them, I was like, that wee glimmer's gone.
Yeah, and then my mum would like rally. So there would be a point where, the doctor would be on the phone and be like, right, we think your mum's going to go like within the next 4 hours and she's really dipped and all this sort of stuff. And then you're literally just kind of there waiting for her to pass. But then she'll just suddenly like open her eyes and then she'll be like up and just be normal for a couple of days. And you're like...
I said before when I noticed that she was looking through me, she was so ill at this point, and I went in and I could see that she saw who I was for the first time in God knows how long. And I hope it wasn't just me like projecting that, like hoping that was the case. But I really did feel like her eyes locked. Aye, and it was just like really took me back, because she 2 days before, like you say, they were like, you're going to have to get here to be ready, and to walk into the room and expecting, it wasn't great, but it was awful. But just a recognition, I was like, whoa. And it was the last time that happened. And it was, I don't know, there was a few things this sounds, well, to you, I think you'll get it, because we've just talked about all the things with the podcasty type thing. She passed away and then the window shut. Like, it was like she left the room and then went boom. And it was just like, whoa. Like the window was open and the wind just kind of shut it. And it was just like, whoa, that was very strange as well.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it? Just an absolute roller coaster.
I think as well, like how you were talking about what we do in the industry we're in and how we're a certain way in it. I find that I'm like this because of the experiences I've had over the past 7 years now, is that is not reality. I've lived reality, and all the things that people are talking about that they think should matter and that people should give a fuck about and all that kind of stuff doesn't matter. For me, it's about making music, doing it for the reasons that, as corny as it sounds, the reasons that you got into that kind of practice room the first day you ever did it, all those same kind of reasons, and just for the love of it and all that kind of stuff. But having now been through what I really feel like was the first couple of, like the past 10 years, like, because we lost Scott from Frightened Rabbit as well, like 2 days before my first son was born as well. So it was like this past 10 years has really just made me look at life and go, that thing that's over there that you like, and that all the kind of traps that are in there, they're not even appealing to me anymore. They were never appealing to me in a way anyway, but as a young person, when you look at the music industry, you're like, ooh, I wonder if that's what you have to,
exciting.
Aye. And then the reality of it is just like, you know?
Still some exciting bits.
Yeah, all the things that are meant to be exciting, I think, are exciting. And it's just all the outside things that try to infiltrate that it's actually just really boring.
Yeah, and it can be very tiring when you're on the road touring as well.
Yeah. How do you find touring these days? Do you enjoy the way that I'm talking about it, or is it a love-hate?
Yes, great.
Yeah, I love it.
No, I do really enjoy touring, actually. I love getting out, playing on stage. I mean, from the age of about 7, all I wanted to do was be on a stage and sing. I love that aspect of it. I actually really enjoy meeting people after the shows and stuff. And our audiences are certainly, for this last record, increasingly a lot younger than they were. And, I'm a lot older, but they are a lot younger, like 17, 18 years old.
I love that, Rachel, so much. Knowing that there's just a young generation that's got into you guys, and it's just like, and they're not just into it, it's like they are like real. Yeah, and it's really just to know that you're inspiring. I don't know. When we were out this week, and I was like hanging out with people that were younger and starting bands, and the excitement in their eyes and all that kind of stuff. And they spoke to us and asked us really good questions, and actually made me a lot more hopeful about a lot of things talking to those young people than how I maybe thought it was, the way that you hear about the world and just like how like the internet and all that kind of stuff. But getting out and actually speaking to these younger people kind of made me, and I know it's again sounds corny, I always seem like I'm pure coming out with dad things these days, but well,
you're a dad.
Yeah, true. I don't know, made me feel a wee bit younger again in a nice way.
We've had 2 really intense years of touring, really, for our last record. And the word that you used there made you feel hopeful. It made me feel really hopeful doing our gigs and seeing all the young people there and meeting and talking to a lot of these people after the shows. It made me feel hopeful about the future of the planet, all those things. There are good people in the world. There are so many good people in the world that really care and that are really passionate. When I was 17, 18, I used to be right in the front row watching my favourite bands, alternative, backcombed hair. And I see a lot of those young people looking back at me, and it's like my youth is reflecting back at me. Yeah. And in addition, for me, not everyone will know this, but my son, Jesse, is profoundly deaf, and as a result of that, he can't talk. And his mental age is much younger than his physical age due to the syndrome that he's got called charge. So I can't have those conversations with Jesse, and I will never be able to have those conversations with him. But I think for me to go out and do these gigs and to meet these young people and talk to them, I really enjoy it because I'm not able to do that with my own son. But I'm quite maternal to all these really cool indie kids out there that, I am old enough to be their mum now. I'm in my 50s, but they give me a sense of joy. There is still joy in the world. There's obviously a lot of terrible things happening everywhere, but there are still good people.
I'm so happy to hear that you get that, because having not toured that much a lot recently, and that just being like a 7-day in-store tour, feeling those same emotions, and that we had kids at 12 and maybe 15, 16 coming up at the signings and just asking Andy about his guitar tones and he's just things that Andy's interested in, and I was just like, oh man, this is I don't know, you hope that you would relate to the younger generation and becoming a sad old man, so it's like oh wow, yeah, just a really honest connection about something that we've got in common.
Yeah, and that we're passionate about. It is cliches are cliches for a reason.
Yeah, you're right. I'm full of them these days.
As we get older, we'll be even more cliche.
I am a cliche.
Thanks for listening to the Talkhouse Podcast, and thanks to James Graham and Rachel Goswell for talking. If you liked what you heard, please follow Talkhouse on your favorite podcasting platform and check out all the great stuff at talkhouse.com. This episode was produced by Myron Kaplan, and the Talkhouse theme is composed and performed by The Range. See you next time.